That's a taster of the film Singh #7. We're joined in the studio by lead actor Pardeep Chera and executive producer Joshua Odigie. Good morning to you both. Lovely to see you. Joshua, talk to me about what you're trying to achieve with this film, because we talk about kicking racism out of football all the time, yet on a far too regular basis, we keep seeing headlines related to racism and what is termed the beautiful game.
Yeah, I think from a filmmaker's perspective, every film is designed to generate a level of reaction. If you're watching a horror film, that feeling is fear. If you're watching a comedy, that feeling we want to portray is a feeling of laughter and lightheartedness. But with this film, what we want to do is stir up a conversation. What we're realizing with the state of racism at the highest level of football in the UK is that people tend to have the conversation very briefly and then it goes away. What we want to do is have people have the conversation about racism at not just the grassroots and semi-professional level, but across all levels of the sport at the for a longer period of time. And so and what we want to do with the film is make sure that we find a constructive way of addressing the issue, indefinitely.
Pardeep, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there are a large number of black footballers within the Premier League and the game in the UK. And it's interesting because a lot of people say, where are the Asian footballers? Because, British Asians make up around 7–8% of the British population, yet you don't see that reflected in football.
Yeah, this is true. And I think it's just a case of British Asians, they don't even get anywhere near, like scouts, for example, to even get the opportunity to play at the highest level, and that's one of the problems that we looked into.
It's interesting, isn't it, Joshua? Because if you go to any school up and down the country, it doesn't matter the colour of your skin. All kids are playing football, and that's boys and girls. But it seems as you go, as you get older, as you go higher up the chain, that gender mix and that race and ethnicity mix just melts away.
Absolutely. I think what we wanted to portray with the film, and I think it does feature in the storyline, is the sense that this character believes so much in his dream and believes so much in his ability that he continues to pursue the dream, despite the fact that when he gets to the more, I guess, official part of of trying to get into the professional game, he starts to get a lot of pushback and he starts to get a lot of negativity from the local leagues and organizers, because they feel that he's generating a lot of controversy, and because they don't want that, he starts to feel like maybe he's pushing against the wind and he's trying to buck a system that's not willing to change. And what we want to do with this film is show that there are a lot of players like our character Jasdeep Singh, and we want to show that their stories are real, their struggles are real. We want to emphasize that very much with this film.
Pardeep, did you bring any of your own personal experiences into this film? Because you're Leicester born and bred, and Leicester, I know, big city in terms of Leicester City, huge contingent of Asian fans at that football club, Derby County as well in the East Midlands. What did you bring from your own personal experience to this project?
So elements of my actual life have been put in, experiences on the pitch, off the pitch, family stuff, for example. Elements of things that I've been through have been put into this character, Jasdeep Singh.
And in terms of what does your actual character go through on screen that we can see?
So Jasdeep Singh, I think he knows what he's up against. He knows what he's up against, but when he starts to go through it, it's a whole other thing for him to actually experience it and see it for himself. So he's learning as he's going on through the game. And you can see all the different barriers that he's up against, with racism being one of the big ones.
Joshua, it's interesting, isn't it? We seem to talk about kicking racism out of football an awful lot. We give it a lot of lip service. But do you think in the game we are actually seeing things change? As I said, the headlines are still about racism in football far too often than we'd like. Yeah,
I think fundamentally it seems to be the exact same rhetoric. We're experiencing almost a Groundhog Day every time we see a headline about racism in the news or in person. Most organizations and most of the higher ups, such as the Premier League and the FA, the best thing that we see from them is them condemning the incidents of racism and perhaps taking a short period of time to address it periodically. But what a lot of people would like to see is institutionalized change pretty much at the grassroots level and taking it higher from there. And I think it's the reason people like myself and my co-producers, Amrik Sidhu and Charles Hume, wanted to get involved with this project. We saw something, tangible, and we saw something that addressed this from not just an artistic perspective, but from a sporting perspective as well.
Okay, Joshua, Pardeep, thank you very much. Just quickly, Joshua, where can people see it if they want to have a look?
Well, the film is very much in development right now. We're in the middle of securing distributors for the project, so we're hoping that hopefully in the next year we'll get this film in the cinemas.
Okay, great stuff. Joshua, Pardeep, thank you for coming to see us on Sunrise this morning. Thank you.